One of my favorite memories with Jordan was that he'd always place rubber ducks everywhere around the school.
Honestly, we laugh about the rubber ducks all over. I remember being annoyed. I'm like, Jordan, I cannot have 25 rubber ducks on my front desk. But of course now we, love that memory of him.
I'll start by saying that Jordan will be missed a lot. Just a little background, my first year here, I found little rubber duckies everywhere. Had no clue why there were little rubber duckies all over the classroom, but now I know the story behind it.
I know everyone is very fond of his rubber duckies, but that was probably my favorite part about last year with Jordan is just everywhere I looked. I'd open a curtain on one of my shelves and there'd be a ducky there, or even on top, he got one on top of my fire alarm behind my TV. Don't tell me how I did it. But anyway, it just was so fun to find those little discoveries, and it was like he got the whole campus involved. All the student body was involved in this, the search for these duckies, and it was so fun. Anyway. Loved having Jordan, and he is so missed.
I was about to say, where do I even start with Jordan? One of my favorite memories of Jordan is back when he was in middle school, and it was science fair time, and that's when he was, looking to make a go-kart, and he had a motor for it, but he didn't really have the body, so he asked me just randomly if I had a wagon, and randomly I had a wagon, and I remember bringing it up here, and he was so excited, and he gutted out my wagon and he made a go-kart, and it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And then he made me ride it. I don't know, he's always experimenting, always doing fun stuff, always printing me 3D printings. Here's his first one of the year. Was one of the coolest little things. He always brought, joy to my office. Made it look kind of cool. I had all the fun stuff up here.
He put rubber ducks all over the school. I remember that so well, and I used to go treasure hunting for them. He was a good kid.
He was always funny and creative, and he helped me with my science project. And we started getting to know each other pretty well when we went to college. And so after every day we went to college, we'd go get something to eat, and he'd help me with my math homework, and I'd help him with his homework. And then my car would be on the opposite side of the campus, so he'd take me. And then his car had a bunch of just weird skeletons and stuff, and he'd name them, and I don't know. He was a really nice guy.
I would have to leave for a doctor's appointment, and Jordan was so good at teaching. I would give him my lesson plan and say, Jordan, can you come in and teach my 6th period? So I just remember him coming in the afternoons and saying, hey, where's your lesson plan? What do you want me to teach? What I remember about Jordan is honestly how caring he became. He had a few friends that were pretty introverted and really wouldn't advocate for themselves. And he would come up to me and he'd say, Mrs. Floyd, so-and-so is really struggling with their math, can you go help them? And he was so good at really advocating for his friends, and I think that's the part I love, is that we went through the rough years, but then we got to see the loving, caring, mature part of Jordan, and honestly, I just feel blessed to know him, and I'm just thankful I got to be a part of his life, so thank you.
Jordan Koopman. A friend I've known ever since the 7th grade. In PE, he claimed to be my personal trainer, and when he ran for student council president, I was one of the people who voted for him because he was such a noble friend. And I can't think of anyone out there whom I would replace him for. Jordan Koopman, if you're hearing this, I miss you.
He always knew when to check up on you. He always cared about people's feelings. He's the only guy I know that basically could be anyone's friend.
I knew Jordan. He was a good kid. He's always so funny and cool dude, and I can see him with his big old gallon of Diet Coke. He loved that stuff.
He was like a brother to me, honestly.
Me, him, and Barry, we all went to Los Angeles, and I think it was the 3rd day we were there. We just dug out a giant moat in the sand, and Jordan and Barry helped bury me all the way up to my head. He's probably one of the funniest people I've ever met. A lot of his jokes were just something you wouldn't expect. He could take anything and just make it funny.
Hi Jordan, we miss you very dearly. I wanted to share my favorite memory with you. To come to think, probably my favorite memory was when you bought all of us maid dresses and we tried to convince you to wear one for like a week straight and you wouldn't say yes. So we settled on putting it on ourselves to make you happy and laugh.
Jordan, I will forever remember you for these rubber ducks and you sticking about 20 to 30 of them in my purse. So I appreciate that and I will miss you for that. Also, you are truly one of a kind, Jordan. Your big teddy bear personality. I'll miss you, kiddo.
He's always himself. It's one of the best things a person can have is just being yourself. And Jordan was just willing to make everybody laugh in the most hardest times. Man, it's not going to be the same without him, but I think we all have Rubber Duck to represent him, how much we care about him. So rest in peace, Jordan.
I learned so much from him, just these little factoids or just any little project he was working on he'd bring in. One thing that I really remember was the fact that he taught me that you can grow popcorn. Popcorn kernels will sprout, and I didn't think that was a possibility. He had so much potential in the realms of engineering and science, you know, and he was an entrepreneur. And he just loved to teach and loved to share information and loved to help people. It was great, you know, he was making lessons, he was making PowerPoints, and he was just doing all these things that a teacher would do. He was like always gravitating towards the students who needed the most help. Jordan was a senior, so I didn't have him in school, in my classes anymore. And you know, him and Logan, at least once a week, every once in a while, they'd stop by and just check in and tell me what they're doing at EVIT, tell me what they're doing with their days or with their life or whatever. And I really cherished that. And just funny, he'd always joke around. He's like, yeah, I'm here again to annoy you. I'm gonna annoy you and then keep you from doing your work.
You know, he was probably the first student who really gave me grief when I started here, but that quickly turned into a mutual respect between the two of us. He and I real quick found out that we both enjoy like working with our hands, 3D printing, creating things. We had lots of great conversations about how to improve different things. And then when the 3D printing started, you really got to see him like come into his own and really just like be great at something. And he enjoyed being good at it. And he enjoyed being the professional at it and being able to talk to his peers about something that he knew about. And it was so amazing as a teacher to see him become not just a student anymore, but someone who was like sharing his knowledge with people. And really, I think that's what we're gonna miss the most, is just someone who didn't care who you were, what people you knew, who you hung out with. He was always willing to give you, you know, a hello. He was always willing to see if you were doing okay. And if you weren't, he was willing to try to figure out how to make it better.
I want to cherish all the memories that we've shared. Sorry, not trying to get emotional, but I miss him a lot. Like over the weekend, I was about to call him and ask him if we wanted to hang out, but I forgot that I can't do that. I just really care about him a lot, and I want him to know that I'm not gonna forget him of all the times that we've shared. I'm gonna be strong for Jordan and make sure that I don't give up on my happiness, because he always wanted me to be happy all the time.
Jordan was amazing. Yeah, he was a great friend. We used to have a homeroom together, and he used to bring sodas a lot, and he brought it in his backpack, and one time he opened his backpack and he found out it all spilled in his backpack, and then he had to leave it outside and ants got into his backpack, so that was funny.
So Jordan, what a brilliant mind. I mean, there's so many memories. Some of my fondest though are when we built these things. Jordan kind of already, he just had that mind, and that he knew how it worked. He could have put it together without me even being there. And I was trying to teach him things, and I actually learned from him. So I'm gonna miss you, man. So
he was always there for me and everyone. He would talk to us about any problems we had, and always willing to pay for us if we couldn't pay for something, and drive us around places. just a really good friend, really the best one I've ever had, and he will be forever.
He welcomed me with, I'd say open arms, but it was more open humor. Our humor was very similar. So he called me Principal Lady and I called him Student Man. He brought 3D printing to our school and made it cool. Jordan will always have a piece of all of our hearts and he'll always be here with us.
He was like one of the coolest dudes. He felt like literally like my brother.
I took the 3D prints from the windowsill. I threw the day-old Coke from the can. Packed up the printer that he had made. Memories of a life that's been lived. Took the duckies, the prints, and stuffed animals. Poured the old Diet Coke down the sink. They always told me, don't you cry when you're down. But there's a tear every time that I blink. Oh, I'm in pieces, it's tearing me up. But I know a heart that's broke is a heart that's been loved. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel and we felt like your mom. I got to see the person you had become. Spread your wings and I know that when God took you back, he said hallelujah, you're home.
Hello. Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm running for student council president, and some of the things I stand for are trying to make sure all of your guys' opinions are heard and that everyone is included in anything. Some of the things I've done to help the school in the past is I've helped make the 3D printing explorer, and I've helped with the 3D printers and whatnot.
Why you've gone, we cannot say, but we do know that we'll miss you every day. We know that you'll be looking down to see how best we carry on. We're sure you wouldn't want us to frown, so together we'll just move along. We'll cherish thoughts of days gone by, your voice, your smile, and that special twinkle in your eye when spreading cheer such as rubber ducks and skeletons, Mickey D's and Diet Cokes. Weren't we the lucky ones to be the recipients of your jokes? Faking it till we make it, because in the end we know we'll get to see you again, my friend. So you have gone, we'll see you in a while, but when all is done, you can still make us smile.